What's up, guys? Welcome back to Everyday Faith, day 24. And really quick, just want to encourage you, if you missed the video or missed the email before, make sure, we're shipping out our Faith boxes here in the next week, but make sure you get the November Faith box. We're partnering with Operation Christmas Child. You'll get a custom box that has a shoe box in it from Operation Christmas Child that we can pack with toiletries, toys, goods that they will then take and then deliver to children all over the world. I think in their 20-something years, they've delivered like 170 million shoe boxes to kids in need all over the world. And so in November, we're partnering alongside of them. Of course, you get all the great things in your Faith box, so don't worry about that. But this box is just an opportunity for our community to rally, to make a difference, and to really impact countless. In our case, if every person in the Faith box community did it, we're talking thousands and thousands and thousands of lives being impacted with the gospel of Jesus, along with some fun toys, some fun items if we all participate. So make sure, if you're thinking about unsubscribing from Faithbox, don't do it. Please stay on, because this is going to be such a significant thing. You're going to love the November box, but you're also going to love making a difference in the lives of others. So with that said, I feel like I had to share that because this is my last devotion for the month, and the end of the month is in a week, and so I wanted to make sure I shared that. But we have a devotion today from 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verses 8 and 9. The Apostle Paul writes, he says, 3 different times I begged the Lord to take it away. Each time he said, my grace is all you need. My power works best in weakness. Now, here's what the devotion says. The Apostle Paul was no stranger to chronic pain. He carried with him what he described as a thorn in the flesh, and on several occasions he asked the Lord to take it away from him. Despite Paul's pleading, God saw fit to work through Paul's pain rather than remove it. Because of this, Paul said he was able to take pleasure in his weaknesses, knowing that God's strength would be even more evident. Your pain is a vehicle for God's grace. It's in your pain that God desires for you to experience His grace in an intimate and personal way. His greatest power is demonstrated when you feel weakest. He's not overwhelmed or intimidated by your pain. So yes, you should pray and believe for healing as Paul did, but if healing doesn't come in the way you envisioned, then learn to accept it as an opportunity for God's grace in your life. Now, this is kind of like a gut check moment. Now, as I shared a couple days ago, I've never had to deal with chronic pain. I've never had to battle, issues that many of you do, or many of your family members and friends do. And so I can imagine, your situation. I've never experienced it. But when I think of this devotion, like in Paul saying, 3 different times I begged. I really don't know when was the last time that I personally begged. I don't know, maybe it's out of pride or ego or whatever, but there is desperation. I should preface that, begging for something in the way of there are prayers that Chris and I, my wife and I, have been praying and seeking the Lord on for years on end. But when I think of begging, I think of that desperation, it's like that doesn't happen often in my life. Very few things compel me or move me to that. And Paul was saying, man, 3 different times, this one thing. And I know there are many people who feel that way. And again, I say that not to say that someone who begs for something is less spiritual, because that's not the case at all. It's just that sometimes we are so burdened with the pain that we feel, whether it's physical or emotional or spiritual, that we beg God, God, just please take it or take me. I know people have prayed that. And Paul says, look, I'm going to delight in my weaknesses, because that's where the power of God's grace is evidenced in my life. And I can't fully comprehend, I can't fully figure it out. But the best that I can make sense of it is that when God doesn't answer in that way, when He doesn't remove the pain that we're begging to be removed, He says, because I have something more, or I have something better, it's going to look different. But if you can understand it, if you can grasp it, it'll be far more significant and far greater for you in the end. So my hope and my prayers that that's true in my life, my hope and my prayers that that's true in your life, and that you would experience God's grace in the same way and to the same level that the Apostle Paul did in his life.